Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Elder of Rock. I am Stephen Elder, and today I'm going to talk about a movie, which I haven't done too much on this channel yet, but I've decided that if a movie might be rock and roll adjacent or something, um, that I'll talk about it, meaning that um, if you kind of like hard rock and heavy metal, you might be able to relate to this movie, specifically if you grew up in the time period of this movie, uh, late late 70s, um, then you might dig this movie. It's got a great soundtrack, which has some good stuff on it from, like I said, the late 70s. And so the movie I'm going to talk about is called Over the Edge, most notable for being Matt Dillon's major film debut. But it came out in 1979. It's not to be confused with Over the Hedge. Good one, Wikipedia. Wikipedia has on here, not to be confused with Over the Hedge. But it's not to be confused with that. I don't know why you would, unless you just happen to type in the wrong thing on a browser or something. The movie comes up, and then you should know it's not that movie by the cover of it. Anyway, I digress. Anyway, Over the Edge came out in 1979. It was directed by John Kaplan. It was released in May of '79, and it says it's based on actual events. The plot here, I don't. The plot here it says it's New Granada. It takes place in Colorado, and the characters, the main characters, well, not the main character, but three characters: Carl Ritchie and Claude. They hang out at a place called the Wreck, and it's a local hangout. That just the kids hang out at, play pool and things like that. Um, but they're always kind of getting hassled by the police there. Sergeant Doberman, or Doberman Dog, as they call him in this movie, uh, kind of harasses the kids. And then because some developers are coming in that want to build some, new housing developments and some industrial parks and stuff, the townspeople, or the main people of the town, are worried about um, the kids in the town, and that they're going to cause trouble, and they're going to make the town look bad and bring down the property values. So anyway, Carl in this movie, he's the main kind of character of this movie, and he hangs out with Richie and Claude. They and go to high school and together, and go to parties and get all sorts of other kind of trouble. And eventually it ends with, so the kids are kind of tired of being pushed around. Something bad happens to one of the characters. I won't spoil it for you if you want to, because you want to see this movie. But so Carl kind of runs away from home because of this incident. Uh, he the kind of the other kids in the town kind of, gather around him and look to him as kind of their leader. And so when the parents one night are in a meeting at the school about talking about how bad the kids are and how they got to control the kids lock them into the school and cause all sorts of havoc. And that's kind of basically how it ends. I don't want to give it all away in case you want to see it, but that's the basic plot of it. Like I said, the cast is Michael Kramer as Carl, and like this, the main character Matt Dillon as Richie. Pam Ludwig is Corey, her Northrop is Sergeant Doberman, and Vincent Spano is Mark Perry. Um, and it says here that that was film was inspired by events described in a San Francisco Examiner article about kids on a spree. The middle class plant community had an unusual high level of juvenile crime. Anyway, so it's kind of based on that kind of a thing, I guess. I don't know. Um, there's also, when it was released, it kind of got limited release because at the same time, a movie called The Warriors came out, which was about street gangs. The Wanderers, another one. kind of about street gangs. Boulevard Nights, I'm not too familiar with, but I guess it was kind of the same kind of thing. And I guess what had happened there when at those films that there was some violence and things like that. So a movie coming out kind of like this, they were worried about there was going to be more violence in theaters and stuff. I don't know. I don't remember seeing. I didn't see it in the theaters, but I probably didn't see this till a couple years after the movie came out. Um, but anyway, so I talked about the soundtrack and how it was pretty cool. You got "Surrender" by Cheap Trick, "My Best Friend's Girl," The Cars, "You Really Got Me" by Van Halen, which was kind of wild because probably might have been the first time Van Halen had a song in a movie. I don't even really know if they had too many songs and too many movies. I remember this. I mean, this one, and then "Better Off Dead." They had the "Everybody Wants Some" with the dancing hamburger. If you haven't seen that film, that's another good one. Might talk about that one another time. Good as also kind of rock and roll adjacent. But anyway, "You Really Got Me," "Speak Now or Forever Hold Your Peace" by Cheap Trick, "Come On" by Jimi Hendrix, "Just When I Needed the Cars," "Hello There Cheap Trick," "Teenage Lobotomy" by the Ramones, "Down" by Cheap Trick, and "All That You Dream" by Little Feat, and "Ooh Child" Valerie Carter. Probably leave out those last two for me, but those rest of this. But it's a good movie. I mean, the song and the songs are used pretty good in the movie too. The Van Halen one, especially, really got me. Was used when their kids were at a house party, so it's pretty cool. The Jimi Hendrix song is at a pivotal part of the movie, and just some other stuff. So the way they use the songs in the movie are kind of pretty cool. One thing I did not know about this movie um, was that, according to this here Wikipedia, Eddie Van Halen was going to use the song "Light Up the Sky." Was going to give that song to the movie to use as a theme song. Um, and now Van Halen is never really mentioned in the movie by name, but according to this article, I mean this interview, he said it was a neat movie. Everybody's going to relate to. It's high school kids up in New Granada, which that is where the movie takes place. A housing development. They destroy everything. They lock the PTA. They lock the parents. They had a PTA meeting because all the parents are getting together. Talk about the problems with kids in the town, kind of like what I talked about earlier. But anyway, the band opted not to give the song because Van Halen said we went and saw a screening of it and ain't gonna win no Academy Award or nothing. Uh, but I think it would have been kind of cool to put that in the movie, especially where they wanted to put it. Um, According to Eddie here, might have been kind of cool. So the movie did get some pretty good reviews when it came out. I remember also seeing this episode of Roger Ebert talking about it on uh, sneak previews. Would have been sneak previews or at the movies at the time. Um, and he gave that a good review. It got a pretty fairly good reviews for the most part. Looks like. And I didn't see this movie really probably till a couple years after it came out because I saw it on cable, um, HBO or something. And I remember watching it quite a few times because it reminded me of my life. It reminded me of what I um, did, the same kind of friends I hang out with, sending the same kind of music. Uh, Carl, his home life was a lot like my home life. He had the same sort of parents that were kind of always worried about you, what you were up to. Maybe you shouldn't hang out with those kids. Um, you know, basic being the teen that thinks your parents don't understand you, and then they're well meaning, of course they're well meaning, but they just don't get you, and sometimes you feel they go too far or something. But anyway, I relate to this, and I just watched this again because talking about it, it kind of inspired me to talk about it. I just kind of watched it again, and I was like, I maybe talk about this. Carl, the main character of this movie, the room he had, uh, with the same kind of posters of Kiss and Star Wars and things like that up in his room, and AC/DC, listening. to music with headphones on. The Ramones. There's one scene he's listening to the Ramones with his headphones on. Um, and like I said, the Van Halen song with the house party. Van Halen, he really got me on with the house party, and the house party was so like house parties I went to. The kind of parties when parents were out of town and somebody says, "Hey, my parents are out of town. Why don't you come over?" And before you know it, there's a lot of people there, and they're you know uh, doing things teens probably shouldn't be doing, of course. What's also funny about the scene in that movie where the house party is the cops, of course, come and bust it up, and what the kid's wearing who has a house party is so like what I had what I had worn sometimes. I don't know if I would have worn it to a house party like that, but he had on like the polyester pants and kind of like the silky shirt, whatever. So it's kind of funny. But Carl, yeah, and then like there's a scene also where they're kind of walking through a park, everybody's partying. Actually, it was a rec center, but it reminds me of when a couple of parties I went to and when I was that age at a park or something, and everybody's just sitting around at picnic tables doing things, and just kind of go sit down for a little bit with somebody, and you do something, and then you kind of walk away, and you just go sit with some more people, and then hey, there's a girl over there, um, and that was the other thing about this movie. Carl and the Corey, I think it's Corey. Yeah, Corey here in this movie. Um, kind of thing that happens with them. I relate to that as well. So yeah, so Over the Edge, um, good movie. Like I said, Matt Dillon's film debut. The only other actor in this movie that really went on to do anything also was Vincent Spano. He's had a pretty good career. He's been in quite a few things, TV and movies. Um, so yeah, what and that's another thing about this, and I'll put these up too. But this Over the Edge. Why isn't Carl even on there? The main character is not even on the cover of this uh, DVD that I have. Um, it's Matt Dillon, Pam Ludwig, and Vincent Spano, and then you see Doberman dog in the distance there. Of course, he's on the back, but he's right there. I mean, that's Carl. And anyway, but looking this and researching this, I looked up and I saw a few other uh, movie posters of this. I mean, I don't know if they were used in different areas of the country or different countries as well. But some of them are kind of funny. There's one that I'll be putting. I'll put this out, but up. I'll probably be right here. Um, that looks like it's a horror movie. Like it's just like beware of the kids and stuff, and some other ones just make it look like a 70s exploitation movie. Kids out of or those ones from the 50s where they're out of control kids, Blackboard Jungle type stuff. Look that up if you don't know what that is. So yeah. So anyway, so that's it. So Over the Edge. Um, I loved it. Let's say watch it again. It's cool to watch something like this every few couple of years because every time I watch it, I kind of get a little different perspective on it. Um, and but it still just kind of takes me back to uh, that time. Oh yeah, another thing I'm going to talk. Oh yeah, there's also a kid in this movie. Is it Johnny? I think it's Johnny. Yeah, Johnny, who is younger brother to Claude, and but does not speak, and we never really find out why. Um, we never know why. We never know why he doesn't speak. And kind of rode around a skateboard all the time, wore these kind of punky sunglasses, and but that character is really interesting because he's just in the movie, he doesn't say anything. Um, the part where Carl calls him on the phone and tells him to tap once for yes, two for no, and So you never hear, and you never, there's never even a hint of him speaking. It's never brought up why he doesn't speak. It's just kind of like, yeah, he doesn't speak. Um, so that's kind of interesting about that. Another thing about the movie, yeah. And there's, yeah. So there's another scene in the movie where Mark, Vincent Spano's character. Um, so at the beginning of the movie, it starts with Vincent Spano's character Mark, uh, kind of doing a. I mean, yeah, it's not a cool thing. I won't go into it, but Mark, he gets something, causes the police to chase him, and the police don't catch him, but they catch Carl and Richie, um, and they bring them in and ask them to try to get information and to rat on the kids. Of course, they don't, but then Mark is worried that Carl's going to rat him out. So on the way home from that house party that got broken up, um, Carl gets jumped by Mark and one of his goons, as they say, and beats him up pretty good, man. I mean, they give him a beat down, really good. Just one other small thing about the guy that Mark hung out with that belt beat up Carl. Uh, oh, always reminded me of Malcolm Young. I always thought Malcolm Young, AC/DC. And oh yeah, and that's another cool thing. Some of the dialect in this movie um, reminded me of what you like would talk about in the 70s. Like there's a part in the rec center where they're talking about going to the Kiss concert and is that stuff real? And other things like that. Um, so anyway, so cool movie again. Um, check it out. I believe it's you could probably get it pretty easily. Actually, I got the DVD, but I should probably go get the Blu-ray because why not? It's a cool movie. And so there you go. So that's it for me. Rambled along enough about this. So The Elder of Rock. Thank you very much. Over the Edge. Check it out. Not over the hedge. Over the edge. Check it out. And thanks for watching.